friends. This is Margaret.
And this is Colleen.
And we're the Cousins Weird. And we're terrible trending.
Woo!
We're not live because I feel like a hag in the woods. And
I should take a picture of myself right now. Look at my hair at this moment.
I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't want to be live. I just wanted to record. So that's what we're doing.
Listen, we haven't recorded in 2 weeks. The fact that we were here means a lot.
It means a lot.
We're
and I'm
getting
actually
our shit
clean.
together.
I'm clean. I took a shower. I just didn't really... I put stuff in my hair, but then I didn't really look in the mirror after for a while. My hair's going a little crazy.
It's fine. It's all fine.
Just wasn't in the mood to be live, I guess.
It doesn't matter. They love us.
My trend this week is different than normal.
I'm excited.
It's horrible but it's about an old law that used to be in the books.
So it's not going to make me vomit. Well, it could.
You might vomit,
being
but
disgusted.
You're being disgusted.
Okay.
I'm talking today about something called criminal conversation. And as we know, it used to be very hard to achieve a divorce, virtually impossible if you were a female, we're talking anything before the mid-1800s.
Okay.
There was like no such thing, basically.
Right.
You could, I'm talking, this was a law that was in England, and in order to obtain a divorce, with the ability to get remarried after, it would require a passage of a private act of parliament. And that's basically the religion, it's like Congress. Like, if you want to get divorced, it requires an act of Congress. Basically, if you're passing a bill, right? And it's called a bill. Which was very expensive and really only available to the very wealthy. We're talking the upper crust.
Like the 1%.
Yes, we're talking about people that were gentry, people that were lords and ladies.
Right.
Like, they held titles. Titled people and very rich people were the only ones who really could afford to get divorced. And most of them didn't, simply because there's a huge stigma attached to it. Especially if you're a woman, you were basically ostracized and not allowed. Nobody was going to remarry you. Nobody's going to invite you to parties. And that's basically what you did when you were a wealthy person.
Which sounds like the life to live.
They didn't work. They just went to parties and they went to dinner and
that's all I want.
They went to the theater and they went to balls.
Why can't I do that?
I know,
because I'm a peasant.
I'm a peasant too. Between 1700 and 1857, there were only 314 obtained divorces, and most of these were initiated by husbands. It was very rare for a woman to initiate it.
Right.
And it was
because if they did, it'd be even worse for them.
It was only granted for adultery. You had to prove the person was an adulterer. And a woman also had to prove she could only initiate a divorce bill if there was adultery accompanied by life-threatening cruelty. So all the man had to prove was the woman was cheating on him, but a woman had to prove her husband was cheating on her and cruel to her. That was his cruelty was like her. Basically, he was going to beat her to kill her or something.
Yeah.
Like that. So how do you prove that?
You can't.
You can't. Like,
I don't even know how you. Back then, you couldn't probably prove a man was cheating either because no one would believe you.
I know.
Because they protect each other.
Right. And keep in mind that the people who decided whether the divorce was going to be granted were the lords, who could be your husband and all of his friends.
Right.
So it's like...
They're going to be like, nope.
Right. So it was extremely hard. And it would... Either way it went, whether it was the woman seeking divorce from her husband or a man seeking divorce from his wife, whether it went through or not, the woman was ruined. The man wasn't. He might have a stigma attached to him for a little while, but then he'd eventually get invited to parties. All the woman would not. So.
Oh, no.
Like, no. Even if she's still married to the man. And a lot of times back then, they would just separate. Like, because most of these people were very wealthy.
They had enough for two
homes. And they
homes.
had multiple houses. They had the London house, and then the estate.
And all those men probably had a house with their mistress in it.
Right.
So
like, they would just live separate lives. So they would be separated, but they'd still be legally married to the other person.
Then they could be invited to all the things. And it's fine.
As long as you didn't take a lover that people knew about.
As a woman.
Right. A man could have 100 million and it would be fine.
It's perfectly fine.
because it was so difficult to obtain a divorce, and there was a way to sue for damages in civil court, right?
Okay.
And this could be attained by, like, if you were a lower class person or even a middle class person, you couldn't get a divorce because you couldn't afford to do it, but you could sue. And this was only available for men to do. A man could sue basically a husband would sue a suspected paramour of his wife's for criminal conversation. And they mean conversation as sexual intercourse.
Okay.
That's what the conversation part of this is mean. But it's like in the books, it's called criminal conversation because they can't write sex on there.
Oh, God forbid.
Right? So
they all want to do it, but you can't write it.
She's having a criminal conversation with that man. Like, really. But a woman couldn't sue a paramour of her husband's, probably because at this point in history, a woman, as soon as she married a man, anything that she owned was the man's, including herself. Women were seen on the same level as children. Like, they had no rights, they had no property, they had no say. If they wrote a will, it had to be approved by their husband. So,
okay,
like, even if a woman, her grandfather passed away and left her with a bunch of money, if she was married,
he got it.
The man got the money.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right? So they couldn't own property, none of that. So I mean, they're gonna sue another woman who doesn't own anything. Like,
you're not gonna get anything from it,
right? There's no way. So he was basically okay. So he's gonna sue this man for having sex. Because his wife was having sex with another man, then it was time that she wasn't having sex with her husband. So basically that's what the suit was over. Because if she's having sex with him, then she can't be having sex with me. So that's why he's
that's the reason why he's mad.
Lost sex time is what this is about.
Hysterical.
Yeah. So like, well,
so stupid.
She's having sex with him, so she can't have sex with me. So he owes me money for lost intercourse time. Like, really?
Right.
Seriously. Evidence would be required, and none of the individuals involved, the husband, the wife, or the paramour, we'll call him, would be allowed to testify. So regardless of the outcome, the reputation of the wife would be ruined.
It wouldn't matter.
It doesn't matter if she's guilty or not. And there's a lot of, back in Queen Victoria's time, there's a famous case of a woman who was married to a cruel man, and he was slovenly, and he used to hit her, and she left him, and he eventually accused her of having an affair, which I don't think she was actually having, but he couldn't prove it in court.
Right.
But it didn't matter. She was ruined.
Right.
Point. There's no getting around it. During Queen Victoria's reign, the Matrimonial Causes Act of 1857 was passed, and this transferred divorce proceedings from Parliament to a special court, making it less expensive, so more people could sue for divorce, but it didn't change the requirements of divorce. So the main requirements were still there, but it made it cheaper.
So more access to people, but
right, but not. I mean, more
it's
people.
Not easier,
right? It wasn't really easier. I mean, you still had to. Adultery is basically the only reason why they let you get divorced,
right?
And it wasn't until the Matrimonial Causes Act of 1923,
Jesus,
that enabled either spouse to file for divorce on the grounds of adultery. And in 1937, they allowed for divorce based on cruelty, desertion, or incurable insanity.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't until 1937 that you could divorce your husband for beating you. So if he was beating you before, but not having an affair, you can divorce him. You can only divorce him if you're a woman.
If she was beating you and
he was having an affair. So, lovely. Or
Great.
he could desert you, and you still couldn't divorce him. He could just leave you and go somewhere else.
And you'd
still be married.
Be by yourself and
back then, it was hard. A woman had usually at this point, she probably had a ton of kids.
And she didn't have a man with her.
And how's she going to work and raise her kids at the same time?
Right.
And one thing I also found out, there are currently 7 states in our grand old US of A that have criminal conversation laws that allow a spouse to sue a third party for damages based on allegations of emotional harm. Those states right now, Hawaii, Illinois, Mississippi, New Mexico, North Carolina, South Dakota, and Utah. And it's also referred to as the homewrecker law or the alienation of affection. But in the North Carolina law, It actually says criminal conversation in it. Yeah. Now, we're talking like...
Yeah.
Right now. You can look it up. And it says criminal conversation. I'm like, seriously? We're that advanced now, but you still can't say sexual intercourse.
But are we? We
aren't.
Let's just talk about how far really backwards we're sliding again.
I know, but the whole criminal conversation thing, I'm like, I gotta talk about this.
That's so ridiculous.
Like, I'm gonna sue you for criminal conversation with my wife.
You criminally conversated with her.
But this is like, this could snowball into like a 15-hour talk because of like all the research I was doing for this. I looked about a lot about marriage laws and things like that. So look forward to that because it's going to be in the future. I'm definitely going to be doing some research on laws about marriage and women's rights and things like that in history. It's going to make us all angry.
You know, they had to keep women suppressed so that we wouldn't take over. And now that we're starting to, look what they're doing.
And you look at like pre-Christianity, a lot of religions were matriarchal.
Oh, yes.
They were
matriarchal.
Right. They like were like a lot of pagan religions circle around the female.
The goddess.
Right. And it's because women grow children inside of themselves and birth them out. Like,
yeah.
It's an amazing thing that our bodies can do, you know, and
they're pretty magical.
We used to be revered for that. But
then
we men are like,
reduced
oh no,
to it.
This means you're weaker than me. Yeah, you tried to deliver a baby out of
it's like
a hole in your body.
We were revered, and then we became reduced to that's all we were good for.
Right.
Which, and that's bringing life into the world is pretty friggin' big deal. Yeah, it's me.
It really is.
And you can choose to do that or not. And that is your choice to do that.
In some states, you can.
Well, in my head, you should be ever.
You should. Yes.
But that's what I'm saying. They've suppressed women because they knew we would take over if they didn't. And now that we are gaining more and more power and more whatever, they're pulling it all back again.
Old white dudes.
Because old white men have a hard time with anyone that's different than them getting any kind of equality in this world.
Okay, I don't think we've talked about the whole drag queen thing that's
I don't think we have been.
We haven't really done a recording since then.
No.
And it's people should get scared, especially if you're a woman. Like, this is an attack on, like, basically wearing clothes that don't fit your gender. So, who's to say that if dresses are for women, then pants are for men? So, is this going to end up being women aren't allowed to wear pants in public anymore?
And what defines what gender is?
Why? I mean,
we made that up.
Why can't
it's all made up?
Dress up in a dress and makeup
and still identify as a he?
What?
You can.
You can.
Or you can say I identify as a she.
You can't
and do it. But no, you can't. You can't. No, and it's a breachment of trans rights. It's a breachment of drag queens. It's a breachment to all of us because
it really is.
Because gender is a social construct that was invented by man. The definitions behind it, it's not biological.
It's going to start with the drag queens, and it's not going to stop till it hits the women.
Every kind of thing that is suppressing one is going to come back to bite you in the ass someday. If you think it's not going to affect you, and you're for it because it suppresses others, thinking you'll get power, it will come back to you. It will make its way to you because that's what happens.
Yep.
And if you don't do anything about it, you deserve for it.
What it is they don't care if straight men dress in drag. It's when gay men dress like women. That's the problem that people are having, which is stupid. It's like, okay, most drag shows aren't for children, but you know what? They take place at 9:00 at night. You wouldn't bring your kid to a bar at 9:00 at night.
No.
Would you bring your kid to a comedy club at 9:00 at night to see their show? Because you know what? That show isn't for children either.
And the thing is, people are so worked up about a drag queen reading to their child, and like, why would they want to? Because they're performers, right? They wear big gowns and beautiful hair and sequins and makeup, and kids love it, and they read a story about a princess.
I love it.
I love every second of it. I'm like jealous of everything they come out in every time I go to a drag show because I'm 100% supportive of the drag community.
I love drag queens.
Love drag queens more than most people. So, why do they want to be around kids? Well, why do you want to be around kids? Because kids are freaking cool. And
you know,
we need to expose our children to all sorts of different things in life.
Your kids need to know, like, my kids need to know that I support them no matter what they choose. What path they choose in life, they will have my support. Unless they murder somebody or they become a pedophile. I can't support that. But if they
murder someone who in self-defense, is different.
Right. But, I mean, they need to know they can be who they are and have my support. And letting your children see stuff like that and not remarking about saying derogatory things or anything. Like, who knows what you're telling your child that, like, you better not think that way because I won't love you. That's what they're getting from
And
that.
Also, there's so much hate in this world. Normalizing people that are not like you. And that's okay.
Are they hurting you? They're not hurting you.
They're not hurting anybody.
You might not like it, but...
And I'm telling you right now, they aren't going out there being vulgar when they're reading Everybody Poops to the kids. You know what I mean? Or reading,
Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, or, Give a Mouse a Cookie. Like, they're not being vulgar. They're putting on a performance that a little child would enjoy. So get over yourselves. Stop being such... Can you imagine walking around your life being afraid of drag queens? How sad. And what joy you're missing out on.
I know.
Because I can tell you right now, drag queens make me so happy.
I know. My husband shared this little video with me, and in it they talk about how they're all up in arms about drag queens reading to children. They're putting on shows specifically for children. You know what? You can go back to 1942 and find a movie with Ronald Reagan in it. And
who is their hero of all time.
And he's in drag in an Army USO show with children in the audience.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, they're all dressed like women with makeup and
you know
wigs
what?
and everything.
It's okay.
It's great. It's fabulous.
And it's perfectly acceptable and fine. Why do we care? Oh my God.
Like,
you opened up a can of worms here, Margaret.
It's been happening forever. I think Shakespeare used to be women couldn't be actresses because being an actress meant you were
they had all the female roles were played by men.
Could you imagine going to see Romeo and Juliet, where Romeo and Juliet are both men?
And they kissed.
So there you go. So there. And that was back in the Renaissance. So get over yourselves. Your prudish thinking.
And you're just pure disgusting ignorance. Ugh.
It is. Perfect
it's just
description.
It's just so dumb. And open your mind. And, you are closing off so much in your life. You're affecting the quality of your own life. And in turn, hurting other people. So, just fucking stop it.
Please.
I get so mad. All right.
Because I guarantee you that drag queens don't give a shit about you.
They don't care. But, you could have them have federal offense for wearing a wig in Tennessee.
Can a woman wear a wig?
I don't know.
Dolly Parton would get arrested.
Yeah.
She said that if she had been born a male, she would have been drag queen.
Dolly Parton, who is the queen of Tennessee, does not approve of these laws.
I bet she doesn't. She's a cool chick.
She's super cool. And she's a huge ally to the LGBTQ plus community.
But she's not openly, political about things. She doesn't say, but she will, say, oh, if this is offensive, then I'll stop doing it. That's the type of person she is. And she loves everyone. And I love her. She's my hero.
She's
100%.
Precious. Yes. Too precious for us.
Lots of drag queens just like Dolly Parton because she already looks like one.
And she's stunning.
She is. She wears sequin dresses and wigs and lots of makeup.
I just want to be her.
Me too.
I was born to be a drag queen. I just can't pull it off like they do. All right. So,
I don't have the time. It takes forever. They spend half a day getting ready. I'm like, I don't have that kind of time. God bless you.
I would love to get out there and lip sync and dance and wear sequin gowns and have my makeup and hair.
And a huge wig.
Oh my God.
It would be so much fun.
I'm never so happy as I am at a drag show. I have such a good time.
I do too. They're so much fun.
But anyway, we're going to be at AnchorCon.
We are.
And maybe we'll wear wigs. Maybe we will.
Find a good old Dolly Parton wig.
Yeah. We're going to be at AnchorCon. We're going to do a live recording. So AnchorCon is like a Comic-Con, sort of, for the North Country.
Colleen's going to wear a sequin dress.
Yeah. I'll wear a sequin gown. It'll be great. Red lipstick. High heels. I can't wear high heels. I really would like to, but I can't.
I already broke my ankle falling down the stairs wearing Crocs. Can you imagine if I wore heels?
Yeah.
No,
I can't do it. But
the thought of it gives me like shivers. I'm like, no, I can't.
We're going to be at a table for the whole weekend of AcreCon, so you can stop by and see us. We'll have maybe some merch for you to purchase. But you want to be there for our live recording, so make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram because we're going to share which date that will be, the 19th or 20th, once we find out. And also you want to follow us on there because you'll be the first to know when our episodes are released. You'll see the pictures we share from our episodes. And you can share our stuff to your friends, which is the best way to support us. If you listen to us, your friends probably like us too.
Yeah, if you want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at thecousinsweird@gmail.com. Or you can send us a direct message through Facebook or Instagram. Please like us on both of those platforms and follow us. And then you can reach out with your funny stories, your spooky stories, your UFO sightings, your Dollar Tree sightings.
Yeah. Which can be spooky.
Anything weird that happens at the Dollar Tree, because
it's always a story.
There's always a story. We want to know yours. Let us know. Even if you just want to reach out and say, hi, can you cover this?
We want to know what topics you want to hear about.
Or let us know I like your show. Let us know. We like that.
We do. It makes us feel, it fills our hearts with,
it makes us think
sad little hearts with pure joy.
Because we want to know if people are out there and they enjoy what we're doing.
Because really, like,
we do this, we don't get paid. So,
we're doing this because we love it. But are there other people that like it too? Like, it gives us a community and we like that feeling.
Join the Freaky Friends community.
Yeah. If you want to support our podcast, because it can be expensive to have your own podcast. Only because you gotta invest in it to make it sound good. It's an investment of time, energy, and money. You can go to patreon.com/thecousinsweird for $1 a month. You become a freaky friend. You get a free sticker and bonus episodes for $5 a month. You become a terrible trender. You get a sticker, yearly gift, bonus episodes, ad-free episodes, and a monthly chat with us on Skype where we just shoot the breeze, hang out, be weird together.
Yeah, because that's what we do best.
We're really good at it. We're professionals.
Being weird is what we do.
It is what we do. I think that's it.
All right. Stay freaky.
Bye. Bye.